Hi, I'm Rosa Wayodi. I'm a surveyor with LPC, that is the Land and Property Center. Today, I wanted to do a reaction to a story that was in the papers and in the socials, a story that was out last week about the case of the Equity CEO Dr. James Mwangi and his wife concerning land that they purchased in Muthaiga in the year of 2012. And of course now the judgment is out. They did not legally acquire that property, and now they have to return it to the owner, who are the Mount Pleasant Limited. The reason why I wanted to react to this story as a surveyor at LPC is because when stories like this come out, they bring a lot of fear. Kuna tu uoga mingi inakuja. Just picture this. James Mwangi is the CEO of Equity Bank. The guy has muscle, has money. This property was over 3 acres and it was bought at over 300 million. In 2012, over 300 million. So ile motivation nimepata to react to this story kwa sababu ukifikiria hivyo as a normal ordinary Kenyan unapiga hesabu unashindwa. This guy has money. Unataka kuniambia this guy didn't do due diligence? Of course, you're coming from a position of this guy did due diligence. He has lawyers, he has surveyors. It's not that anaweza shindwa kuwalipa watu. You can just imagine the high-powered delegation of people who are involved in this transaction. So the story can bring some fear kwa sababu you'll wonder, me with my little money that I want to invest in land, what if something like this happens to me? But I am just here to give quick facts about it and to just reassure Kenyans that you do not really have to be afraid to buy land, even when you hear stories like this. He bought the land in 2012, but now that the judgment is out, it is clear that the land belongs to Mount Pleasant Limited, who had bought it in 2006 from former Minister Arthur Maguga. Yeah. But Daktari and his wife bought this land from the late President Daniel Moi. Now, in 2012, there were suddenly 2 titles to the same property. So here is where I say this story brings fear. Because now there were 2 titles to the same property. There's the legit title and then there's this title. However, when they went to court, the Mount Pleasant went to court. They went to court and now you have to bring your documents. Usually when you take a land case to court, you have to bring your documents for scrutiny, for people to check, for the investigative authorities to check the legitimacy of each of your documents. The ones for Dr. Mwangi had problems. There are some registry entries that weren't signed, some file numbers didn't match, some details were missing completely. Like in short, the paperwork didn't add up. So, but for the other one, it did. So the court ruled that the other company was the genuine owner because their purchase followed the right legal process. And so in the end, Daktari and his wife were ordered to pay 10 million shillings and to vacate the land. And you know, in 2012, when they bought that property, as we've seen now in the story, they walifurusha our Mount Kenya property, waliwafurusha. Like they put a perimeter wall, the guards who were there, walifukuzwa. So anyway, just imagine the muscle that this guy has. Just imagine the power that he has. What walitolewa hapo, and then also you've done a deal with the former president then, but we are talking power. We are talking power that if you're just a normal, even if you're not normal, a power that you really have to be big to resist at that point. So anyway, they vacated and they went, but of course he was ordered to pay 10 million shillings in damages and to vacate the land. So what does this mean? Does it mean that for any ordinary Kenyan, when you're thinking about it, are you thinking that your land can be taken away? No, the answer is no, your land cannot be taken away if you follow the right channels. There's something that we say here, and I know that you've heard it, is that state guarantees title. What does state guarantee title mean? It means that if your title is legit and you have followed the due process, no one can take it away from you. I know people have concerns about people going to the registry and tampering with records. Do you know you can even go and you can even sue the registrar if something like that happens. You can sue the Attorney General if something like that happens. It doesn't happen, and actually when investigations are done and you're found to be the legal owner, you'll get back your land. That one is to allay the fears of the people who own land. But what about you who wants to buy? Wewe mwenye unataka kununua, unaogopa. Unasema kama huyu mtu alitumia over 300 million na akona hiyo masoli yote na alinunua ikakuwa shamba yenye sio mzuri, what happens? Now for you have to do what we are calling due diligence, complete due diligence. And that is what we do here at LPC for all the land that is listed on our website. For you who wants to buy, you have to do complete due diligence. And what does that entail? First of all, you do a status search. Kuna hii search inaitwa status search. Pia kuna historical search. A status search will tell you the name. You have to have the copy of title. All the 4 pages. Whether it's the certificate of lease or the certificate of title. All the 4 pages. Once you have the title, you take it to the county registry or on Adhifasa platform, conduct a search. It will tell you the name of the owner, the acreage, and if there's any burden on the property. Is there any mortgage? Is there any loan? After you do that status search, get a surveyor. A surveyor will buy the map or the survey plan of the mutation. Hiyo tu ni kamap kanaonyesha shamba iko wapi and the distances. The surveyor will go and confirm to you the beacon status, the acreage, the location actually, so that you avoid being shown. You know you can be shown any half acre anywhere in Kenya, but now if you're buying a half acre, you want to be shown the half acre ya hiyo title yenye umeshika. This a surveyor can verify this for you, and that we do at LPC. Mtu yote anatuletea shamba anataka tumuuzie, sisi tunaenda surveyors wetu. I'm one of the surveyors. Tunaenda kwa ground, then tuna verify hii location, hii title ni ya hapa. Hii title si ati ni ya Ngong huko ndani mahali, ni hapa pale unanionyesha hapa pale niko. Maybe it's Kitengela, let's say. Ata verify your beacon status, and then also a surveyor will tell you whether it is public land. Unajua unaweza uziwa public land, it can be sold for public land, or land that has been reserved for public purposes, or land that is a reserve, like for example a forest reserve. There are just those lands that you're not supposed to buy. For example, if you buy land that belongs to the airport, you remember the story that happened in Syokimau some years back, or the Kenya Ports Authority, or the railway. All those reserved for parastatal and government institutions, you're not supposed to buy in places like that. Or mabarabara, you know there's road reserves. Saa zingine utaona barabara ijatengenezwa lakini it's a road reserve. All these a surveyor will check out for you. You know, because these things are registered against a title, and he or she can be able to check it for you. After that, after the surveyor has done that, a lawyer will do a historical search. Now, this is where now we can come even to this case. If the Daktari and his wife had done, their lawyers had done a historical search. And who knows, maybe they did, I don't know the facts of that situation at that point. But the lawyer will apply for a historical search. Now, it shows us from the time this land came from the government, the county government or the national government, it was alienated to a private individual, hiyo line yote inafuatwa, unaona, mpaka kwako, you who is doing the search right now because you want to buy it. Na hapo katikati kama kuna case, kuna entries, na kama if is a case, it's good to go to this Kenya law and see what was the conclusion of this case. Now you have all your facts, and and the lawyer will advise you. We have our lawyers that we work with. The lawyer will advise about now when they do the historical search. Of course, anything that has an ongoing case or a case that wasn't concluded, we can't recommend. And after that, you are free to buy that property. So this case of Daktari is double-edged. It gives us a guarantee that when we buy land the proper way, when we follow the proper channel, we will be okay. And it doesn't matter who is coming at us and who wants to get us out of our property. It doesn't matter even if it is the president. They cannot win that case. These titles are that safe, they are that guaranteed. And it also gives us confidence that when you follow the right channel and we involve the right professionals, anytime you want to buy land, I hope in that you are plus, there is surveyor, there's plus lawyer, plus valuer, equals to I can now make a decision on this property. So if you have all those professionals involved, and don't skip this process, I'm telling you, and I always say it with the humility, even if it is your mom selling to you the land, unless it's your ancestral land uko nyumbani, I don't know, but she could be carrying a burden forward. Of course, I use the example of mom because mama hawezi kukudupe, dad hawezi kukudupe, unaona, akona mostly, well in normal cases, mostly 98% akona good intentions, but anaweza kakuwa anabeba shida hiyo shamba yenye haijulikani kama alinunua. So it's just good to do due diligence on the properties yenye mnaishi kwa hiyo property for so long. Anytime you want to do an exchange, just do due diligence. Let the surveyor confirm the beacon status. There are times when you're in the right location but beacons inacrossiana tu hivi kidogo tu unajipata umejenga kwa mwenyewe. Like you could have a line, like I know sometimes when you do a plan, you could have a line. These beacons are on the same line. They are for this property. Then these beacons on this line are for this property. Then you just get confused. You call your fundi to come and check, and then your fundi, because sometimes these beacons are like 1 or 2 or 3 meters apart. You point on the wrong one. Now you're even building on a boundary. Just get your surveyor to confirm to you. In fact, a surveyor confirming the status of the beacon is so important anytime you want to do any sale or any development on the property. It is so important. You're about to spend millions to buy, or even hundreds of thousands to buy. You don't want to spend ako kapesa kadogo kufanya due diligence. No, it will save you, it will protect you. Let us normalize it in Kenya. So I wanted to just react on that story, just to give an assurance to Kenyans that you can indeed trust a verification process done by the right professionals, and that way you don't have to have any fear that anybody is going to come and get your land, or that anyone is going to, or that if you want to purchase, that you might be sinking your money. That was my reaction to that. I don't know what you guys thought about the story. What did you feel when you heard about it? Did you feel fear, or did you feel fear, or did you feel confident that my systems zetu zinawaka? Let me know. Bye.